This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Non-binary, everyone out there in the outer space of the internet.
Inner space of your own minds.
This is the grand finale of original characters.
And then I'm going to put the music in. So it's going to open with your voice and then the music's going to come in.
And then sad violins play, get steadily louder over the music.
I'll see if Greg wants to do a minor key version of the theme.
Alright, I'll jump into the actual podcast now.
Oh, okay. I was going to keep this whole,
Oh yeah, fucking put all this in too.
Because sometimes I show people the process, and that's sort of a funny meta thing. It's like, we're casual enough you can hang out with us. Our art is just like this.
That's M-Class is actually that, where we don't edit anything, so.
But do the thing, and we'll pretend, and everyone can pretend along with us.
Sure, everybody put your pretending hat on. That's what this show is about.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to Original Characters. You can call me Jeff.
And my name's Kevin.
And you may have heard from the saddest intro of all time that this is the final episode of Original Characters. We're taking it out behind the shed and then sending it to a farm upstate to live happily.
Series finale.
As Kevin mentioned before we got into this podcast, we both like to put an end to things. We love killing things. It's our favorite.
We are supervillain sociopaths, but it's also just kind of nice to be like, this is the last thing, because that's kind of a genre in itself. Like make a final episode, I feel like, is a genre of fiction, and I feel like this is gonna have a weight to it that you couldn't get if we just kind of trailed off.
That's true.
And left it open. I mean, we still might do an episode if, we want to do a reunion tour or something, or if we just feel like it. We basically did this whole show because we felt like it.
Yeah, the whole show wasn't supposed to sort of catch on the way it did. I mean, we're not even half as big as our other projects. It's nowhere close, but people really dug this concept in a way that I don't think either of us were really prepared for.
I think when people look back on 2019, it'll be nice. It'd be nice to think about this as a bright spot for maybe 3 or 4 people.
Sure. Well, we have a couple hundred listeners who really love this show.
Yeah.
And there are at least 20 people who very much love the show enough to write in, and I gotta front load this episode by saying thank you to everybody who ever wrote into Original Characters, whether we got to read your character or not. It means a lot to us that you put forth that effort to make our show all the better, and you showed that you really cared about it, and we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't say that any better than Jeff just did. That was the thing that first knocked me on my ass about this show, was just the sheer amount of silliness and creativity that poured in, and it was nice. I felt like we were part of a little GeoCities secret forum of people just making funny shit. So thanks for writing this stuff. It really made me smile.
That's the best way to think of any podcast that any of us are involved with. It's like a GeoCities web ring sites.
Well, I mean, back in the day, you didn't know how big your little tiny, scanned in pen and paper webcomic. You didn't know what your audience for that was. You had
excuse me, there was a GeoCities hit counter in the bottom of my page that told me that 26 people had been there. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But it was obviously a lot more than that, because your shit rocked.
Oh yeah, nothing beat whatever the fuck I was doing on GeoCities. Probably drawing little Mega Man comics.
It's all been a slow tumble downhill from your high school self.
God, wouldn't that be sad?
Yeah. I mean, high school me could not grow a mustache, so I could
Damn.
definitely kick High School Me's ass.
Jesus.
Well, he could, it just wouldn't connect.
High School Me probably couldn't grow facial hair. Like, I don't know. Like, at a certain point, I just shot up like 1.5 feet and went through like double puberty. So probably after that, I could have.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the shooting up 1.5 feet thing. That would be pretty cool. But I'll ask for that from Puberty Santa next time. It comes
Thank you,
around.
Pube Santa, Pubanta. Thank you,
that's-
Pubanta. That sounds like a Legend of Zelda monster, and that's a great segue
Oh shit!
into the fact that, in case you didn't know, this episode is going to be all about the Legend of Zelda franchise, which I found out through internet research has quite the fan community of fan character creators, and they're a little... I found this with a couple things we've looked into. There's like a little bit of a higher echelon of fan character creators in this fandom than like Sonic fandom. Like these people are like, here's my character, they're a Zora, and they grew up in Zora's domain, and they like join the Zora's army, like it's legitimate storytelling with these characters that they put real effort into. There's almost no Cold Steel the Hedgehogs.
Yeah, in my research, I found like not like boring characters, but characters that just sort of
fuck
fit
you
in.
guys, you dumb characters.
But like some people's OCs are just like a villager who is cute, and I'm like, that's great. I'm glad that you have a cute villager. It threw me for a loop because like where we started with Sonic the Hedgehog, everything has to mean so much, and in Zelda it's like there are 3 important people and they show up every game, and everyone else just kind of has to have problems.
It's true. Everybody else has to have a problem that does not involve the destruction of Hyrule.
Right.
Because Link has got that covered. Link and Zelda got that shit covered. And when it comes to the Sonic fandom, almost all Sonic characters are created to supplant a Sonic character that already exists.
Yeah, all of these Zelda characters are kind of like, they're just kind of there in the background, like doing their thing and being chill. And I like
there's a level of humor to a lot of people's Legend of Zelda OCs that I really appreciate, because everyone outside of important characters in Zelda games are like goofy, ridiculous caricatures. And they really pick up on that in the original character community. And they make these characters that have their own little world. Like, say, in Ocarina of Time, there's the mailman that you can chase around and shit. And he has his own shit going on. And that's pretty much, like, I found an original character that was, like, a barkeep. And the barkeep was like nipped into his own sauce too much, and everybody waited for it so that he would give away free drinks at the bar at night.
I like seeing that in Zelda, like just putting it something like a bartender, because they had the milk bar in Majora's Mask.
Oh yeah, that Talon ran, although he was called something else.
Yeah, or some shit. But like
I know Ingo was Gorman, but I don't remember what Talon was.
It's been a while.
Yes.
My N64 doesn't work anymore.
I don't own an N64 anymore. I'm a fake geek girl, so
you can't even Mario Kart it.
I can Mario Kart on my phone. It's 2020. That game fucking sucks, by the way, and I'm addicted to still trying to play it because I love Mario Kart. But God, does it suck on the phone.
Yeah. I will go on record saying most video games suck to play on the phone. Because the phone is not designed to play video games.
The phone is not a video game machine. Like, some games work perfectly. Like, Downwell works great on a phone. Like, fucking Tomb of the Mask is a great phone game if they would stop flashing advertisements at me every 5 seconds.
I think the last phone game I played was Cut the Rope in 2011.
That's a tough one. What type of score did you get on that?
I think I got most of the stars and a lot of the candy.
Legend of Zelda is also a world where a lot of original characters exist because of pen and paper tabletop gaming, like RPG games.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate we both appreciate the fuck out of. Like, Kevin runs a fucking podcast and created a book, which you can find out more about at spacekings.space.
Yeah.
He's dedicated a lot of his life and his life's work to pen and paper tabletop RPGs, and I just like fucking playing them a lot and drawing characters from them a lot.
Yeah, I like your tweets with your fighter boys. Because I make lots of fighter boys.
I do make a lot of fighters. I make pretty much everyone I make who isn't a fighter is me looking at my list of characters and being like, shit, I should do something else, right?
If I make too many fighters, sometimes I'll dip into barbarian and make a barbarian.
Wow. You're really stretching out there, aren't you?
I don't like to manage spells. Like, it's too much.
I like to play an incompetent wizard. Like, I've got an incompetent wizard whose name is Kale Kellen. And he is both a coward and an idiot, and he's just terrible at being a wizard, and he's super fun to play.
You might like Rune Soldier Louis, then, which is about a wizard who puts all of his points into strength. And he goes around punching things.
Kale is just shitty. Like, he's poor, so he tried to go to, like, the Mage's Academy, and he had to quit. He got kicked out after, like, one semester because he couldn't pay for it anymore. So he just knows the basic first semester spells, and he carries a book around that's supposed to teach him how to do all the rest of them. Like, spellcasting for complete idiots or something.
That's great. I think, going back to Zelda...
What?
I think one of the reasons...
This isn't about Zelda? What are you talking about?
I think one of the reasons why the OC community, like, flourishes in this space is because Nintendo is so precious with what Zelda is, and it hasn't varied the formula much since Ocarina of Time.
No. And there are a lot of people who... if I had the reins to a Zelda game, like, I'd go nuts, right? I'd do all kinds of cool shit, but, like,
yeah,
I'm not going to get into it here, but definitely, trust me, I've got great ideas.
Yeah. Like, it's in the future, and you play as Zelda, and...
Well, that's the thing, is everybody's big idea is you play as Zelda, and Ganon isn't a bad guy?
I mean, yeah, because there's so many ways you can, like, do the three main characters in... Zelda that
it's
Nintendo just won't do.
It's a legend, Kevin. You don't go back and change legends. Nintendo definitely won't change shit, and it does. The only reason Zelda doesn't get a ton of flack for that is because the games are just really fucking fun, and the formula doesn't hurt you to play or anything. But man, imagine if they did spread their wings and make some OCs.
Yeah. I think about it a lot, and I know why Nintendo won't fuck with Zelda too much.
There's a fear. There is a deep-seated fear in Nintendo's hearts that if they change something, the House of Cards will come tumbling down. If you let you play as Zelda, what happens to their giant franchise? Is it destroyed instantly?
Maybe.
I doubt it, but they might. They think it might.
I bet we'll see playable Zelda in the next game. I'm calling it. We will see.
I would really love that. I would love that too. I would love if the game is like they like work together like Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong from Donkey Kong Country. You can just switch places with them. That's what they do the high five to switch places to.
That's what I was picturing, and then I pictured Dixie Kong playing her electric guitar when she finishes the stage, but it's Zelda.
I would pay for that.
I'd pay top dollar for that.
So Zelda is a stifling world for creativity. Like creatively, most of the ideas of the franchise go into the gameplay itself, which is a big Nintendo staple, right?
Yeah, I'd say this, the Zelda universe is very established and open to interpretation, which are two very good things for people who make OCs.
Exactly. And I guess there's a touch of like mystery to what the rest of the world is like when you're not battling Calamity Ganon or what the fuck ever is Ganon's new horse shit, right? Like, what's the world like during those times? Like, what other problems could exist in this cool fantasy setting? And there's a little bit of that in Sonic in a weird way. Like, if you played Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, there's a hint to a whole world in those games that is faint as fuck. Like, you get the whiff of a fart of the rest of the world in those games. And kids really latch onto that, especially because it's a colorful world where it's very easy to design your own Sonic, right?
Right.
Zelda, I feel, does that to a bit more of a mature audience. Because, like, kids are happy with the way the game is. Kids are happy to play as Link and rescue Zelda and hit Ganon with their big sword. Everybody's cool with that as a kid. But as you get older, you start to want to know more about the world and setting.
Yeah. And, like, I just want to play as Zelda now. That's all I can think of. That's the only thing pulsing through, like, my fucking lima bean of a brain right now is, what if you could be Zelda and Zelda has magic and then she does magic and then Link does sword and then they look at each other and they do cool, like, shooty fingers at each other.
Zelda accidentally casts a lightning spell and fucking kills Link? Is that what happens?
I think the other thing we're really hungry for in Zelda is character dynamics, because Link doesn't really interact with people. He just sort of goes up and blank slates them.
One of my absolute favorite, like, internet memes. Have you heard about these?
I've not, but I'm gonna go with you like I have.
Is like, there's text that says every character in the game goes up to Link and starts pouring their heart out at him, and then Link and a shot of Jim from The Office staring blankly at the screen, looking uncomfortable as fuck.
I mean, that's essentially what happens to me whenever I go to a bar. Someone is like, this is definitely a trustworthy person that I can foist my life story onto.
Jesus. Jesus.
I'll show you sometime. It's crazy.
I could not handle that. I'd be like, excuse me, sir, I do not know you. What are you doing? But
well, I certainly can't say that.
Well, not in a bar. We all know what happens in a bar if you agitate a white guy in it. But these problems are not really problems, but these quirks of the Legend of Zelda series are what leads people's imaginations to go wild. It's why there's like 5 different variations on a tabletop RPG for Zelda, because everybody has their own vision of what the Zelda world is, and Nintendo fosters that by having all these different timelines and every game happening in a different type of setting. It's a veritable cornucopia of you do it. Nintendo's busy. You do it.
Yeah. I mean, I was tempted to reveal something about my OC, but I don't know if we're there yet.
I think we could get into our OCs. We can always circle back to any sort of topics we want to talk about. And the way this show seems to work is that your OC goes first.
Okay. So if you recall, Jeff, our first episode was Kevin, who is my OC was Kevin, who is also a hedgehog.
I remember this. I remember the night that you had your inspiration for Kevin, who is also a hedgehog.
Yeah.
And which was the Wikipedia that existed just for the character that you got your inspiration from.
Yeah. In many ways, like we spent like one night just hanging out, not recording a podcast, and then we never did that again.
No, because we immediately got the idea for this podcast and just started doing that every time we hung out.
But I feel like I had to do a self-insert OC.
We both circled back to the first episode.
Yeah. Well, I heard you were doing it, so I was like, I gotta do it. Circle. Like, I gotta unbreak the circle as well. Like, you gotta do
the end is the beginning is the end.
So my OC's name is Darevin, the minigames Goron.
Darev. It really tickled my funny bone for some reason.
I was looking up what Goron names were, and because I have to be a Goron, right?
Of course,
obviously.
I almost made a Zora, and now I'm glad I didn't.
I love Zoras, but I did do a fish character already.
I did several. You can
Yeah.
double up.
But I just feel, spiritually, I feel like I have a connection to the Goron people. And I finally made the connection that they're based off the Daruma doll, which I didn't know. Do you know about this, Jeff?
The Daruma doll?
Yeah. So there are these paper mache dolls that are like a little red orb with like a beardy face and two blank white eyes. And in Japan, when you get one, you like color in the dot of an eye when you have the idea.
These, yeah.
Yeah. You color in the dot of an eye for when you have a dream or an aspiration or something. And then when you've achieved that dream, you color in the other dot, and then at New Year's you burn them, whether or not you've colored in the eye.
Damn, rest in peace.
Yeah. But it's about sort of like setting believable goals and finishing what you start, which I feel like that's another great sort of like filters into the meta of our final podcast.
Yeah,
sort of.
And also they eat rocks.
Also, Gorons eat rocks.
That's cool.
That's a cool thing to eat because there are very many of them. Also, how do you make more Gorons? There don't appear to be any Lady Gorons. Whatever. Let's go.
Let's skip past that and hear about your OC.
Durevin is a traveling Goron with a large fluffy beard and big glasses. When first met by Link, he's sulking and gently rolling himself into a tree. I just picture you like walking up a hill and you hear like boom, boom, boom. It's just my Goron ass just like whacking his head on a tree.
The best part of this is I'm thinking that you're like the tree is on a hill and you're rolling down into it, doom, and then unfurling yourself, and then just walking slowly up the hill again. Doop, 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 doop.
So I wrote this like a wiki, like a GameFAQs / Zelda wiki entry.
Oh my god, that's genius.
So it is revealed that while Durevin was rolling around in his travels, he shattered his glasses and is now functionally blind. If the player agrees to help him, Durevin will give you his glasses prescription.
Oh no, a fetch quest!
Link will later encounter Saitessa, the Spectacle Smith.
Saitessa, you should be writing for Zelda. You already got it spot on.
Who is nervously fretting over her forge. Saitessa just can't seem to make any glasses while her dungeoneering girlfriend is missing. Later, in the Flamin' Hot Cheeto dungeon...
Smart. Get that branding in early. Smart.
Get that brand, dog.
This episode,
get that money, Link.
This episode brought to you by Flaming Hot Cheetos. Crunch a bunch.
Crunch a bunch of them. Oh, I should have done 3D.
Doritos 3Ds. Fuck.
Yeah, bring that shit back.
Please. That was my shit. I used to eat that and drink Pepsi Blue. Who knew that my world would change forever?
Man, I think you can still get Mountain Dew Code Black, but I drank way too much of that shit in college.
Mountain Dew Code Black, aka the shit that spills out of demons when you kill them in video games.
It fizzes blue. How does it fizz blue?
I don't know, man. That's like witchcraft that we're not ready to understand. The witch who ran that part of the Mountain Dew factory quit. That's why they don't make it anymore.
Oh, man. I'm hungry now. I was at Flamin' Hot Cheeto Dungeon. That's where I left off?
Yeah, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos Dungeon. TM.
Yeah, okay. So, in the Flaming Hot Cheeto Dungeon, TM, bombing a wall in the Flavor Tornado room will reveal a smaller room with a hole.
Now go on.
In this hole is Spelunkerella, Saitessa's girlfriend, who has fallen into the narrow hole and can't get out. Later, in Reverse Shadow Dimension Kakariko Village, during early dusk, while the revealing gloves are equipped, Link will be able to feel the presence of Snakeleton, the snake charmer.
Okay, Snakeleton is now my favorite character.
Snakeleton is so good.
I like that you've made like 8 characters for this episode.
Yeah, I was like, how much can I really write about myself as a Goron that isn't like immediately obvious? And then I was like, wait, trade quest.
Oh god. You gotta have at least, like, I'm predicting there has to be at least one thing in here that has a horrible timer that you have to get to the second.
Oh, you're not wrong. Snakeleton has an especially long snake named Cassandra that he will loan to Link to use as a rope to get Spelunkarella out of the hole, but he asks for a safety deposit of 1,000 rupees.
Oh no.
Link's wallet can only hold 999 rupees by default. If Link collects 200 orange bean bits from the bean gremlins hidden in the nighttime variants of the Strawberry Universe dungeons, and trades them via link cable sold separately to himself, then he can buy a medium-sized wallet from the Wallet Fairy for 999 rupees.
You created the worst fetch quest in history.
I know, it involves buying a peripheral just to get 100% of the game.
It's the Switch link cable. You gotta get...
Yeah. Even though it has fucking local Wi-Fi, you need the link.
You gotta get the link cable.
And then attach it from one end of the Switch back into your Switch.
Nah, you gotta have 2 Switches set up with the same account on both. How do you do that? Figure it out, kid!
Buy another Switch at Sheepstate. What, do you want Ganon to win?
Ganon will kill your parents if you don't do this.
Alright. From there, Link merely needs to collect 1,000 rupees, because he already spent his 999.
So cold-blooded.
Rent the snake from Snakeleton. Use Cassandra to rescue Spelunkarella from the pit. Guide Spelunkarella through the Flamin' Hot Cheeto dungeon without taking damage and before nighttime starts. Reunite Saitessa with her girlfriend. Wait 24 in-game hours for Saitessa to forge the perfect Goron glasses for Derevan, and then give Derevan his new glasses. After that, Link can play mini-games for some rupees or whatever. Video games, the end.
Look, honestly, Derevan could go fuck himself. I'm not doing any of this.
Every time you, like, gallop through, like, the overworld, you'll just hear the...
Fuck.
And you're like, I gotta do that side quest.
I gotta go to Walmart and get that cable later. I gotta fucking save Derevan.
Maybe I can get a used one. From Funko Land.
I'm gonna head down to FYE and get some Pocky and see if I can pick up this Switch cable.
Holy shit, gotta go check out Babbage's.
Dude, there's still some FYEs, right? Yeah. And every FYE has the Black Label anime section, quote unquote, that is like obviously like pervert hentai for weirdos.
Yeah. I'm just hearing about this for the first time from you.
Of course. And there's always some guy with glasses and a beard who could be a Goron just hanging around back there.
Yeah, he's probably got a name like Devin or Evan or
Derevan is back there, rolling into a ball and hitting the wall of hentai DVDs over and over again.
I feel like definitely when you give Derevan back his glasses, he immediately pulls out a doujinshi or something.
It's a Legend of Zelda doujinshi too. How does that work?
It's like, isn't that okay?
You know what? That was the perfect ending to original characters. It's too bad there's another hour of this, probably.
Woo! I feel a sense of peace wash over me as I end this with Derevan.
You release Derevan into the world for everyone to enjoy.
Because it proves I can make a good boy who is also pretty terrible and no one really has to care about him without a best friend.
If you are making a Legend of Zelda fan game right now, please include Derevan in his entire fetch quest. Thank you. And you have to use, like, instead of getting the Game Link cable because you have to play it on PC, you have to re-download LimeWire and search for a file that'll allow you to Game Link with yourself.
More than likely, it's going to be me making this fan game and not any of our listeners. And I'll fucking do it.
What you should do is, like, advertise that you're making, like, the Zelda spiritual successor that's going to end all of them, and strategically put up all these screen caps that make it look like it's this giant, long, amazing, epic Zelda game, but it is only that fetch quest and nothing else.
Like, I kind of have to do it because, let's be honest, Saitessa is best girl, and I can't leave her only in my dreams.
No, Saitessa has to find her girlfriend, or else how are any of us going to sleep at night?
It would be awful.
I have to meet Snakeleton. I have to meet Snakeleton once in my life.
Snakeleton, I like that, like, Snakeleton might not even ever be seen, because you're only able to, quote, feel the presence of Snakeleton.
My favorite thing about Snakeleton is all the other characters are Saitessa and Spelunkarina or whatever. And
Spelunkarella, but yeah.
Spelunkarella, and his snake's name is Cassandra.
Yep.
That's a 10 out of 10 original character, my friends. Good job.
Yeah.
Put that on fanfiction.net.
Dude, send me that hot Snakeleton fan art.
It's the blank page. You can't see him.
That's just how I picture him.
All right, everybody.
Jeff, I want to hear about your original character.
Well, my final original character, I put a lot of thought into it because, like, I'd gone varying directions with original characters. As, like, sometimes there was, like, a metafiction to it, and other times there was, like, a fake real-world massacre attached to it.
Yep.
And I wanted to do something that culminated in every idea that I'd come up with since the beginning.
Whoa.
So my original character for Legend of Zelda is even bigger Goron. And this dude is like fucking huge, brother. He's real big. Nah, I'm kidding.
Oh man, I was picturing it like just like the like you see the whole map of Legend of Zelda, and then like as you scroll up in the map, like even bigger Goron's head just kind of peeks up like.
There's just a hole in the middle of the map that's the size of the Ocarina of Time map, and the bigger Goron's head is sticking out of it, and that's it.
And then you look closer, and you're like, Link's house is in a belly button, and like 2 of the dungeons are on his boobs.
The whole time you play the game, you're just hearing. So, I did want to circle back to my original character, where I created a metafiction. My original character, ironically, for Sonic the Hedgehog, whose name and story I don't remember. But I do remember I created a metafiction. He was created by an angry teenager.
Okay.
So I wanted to circle back to that. So I created Darkest Link. So, when Link traveled to Termina in Majora's Mask, there wasn't any Link there. Fucked up, right? You ever wonder why that is? Well, that's because of Darkest Link and his horrible inner pain that only I can understand.
I can hear the Linkin Park. I can hear it.
So I'll tell you the tale, long lost to time. The Link of Termina was like every other Link out there. A twinky little bitch boy who girls like for some stupid reason. He was on a mission to rescue some lame princess or whatever. But just like the Link of Hyrule, he met his evil and super cool counterpart, Dark Link.
As every young boy must at some point in their life.
He meets Dark Link, who's maybe just not as good in social situations or whatever, but in like a cool, reflective way, and girls just don't appreciate it. So they met in a cave like near the end of the game, like in Ocarina of Time, but this Link got his shit wrecked, like he should have in Ocarina of Time, because Dark Link is obviously stronger, he's darker.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Link looked down at his crumpled little bitch boy bod and decided he wanted himself a piece of that, but not like in a gay way.
Oh.
Not super not in a gay way, so don't tell me that it's gay, because it's not.
I mean, definitely. All right.
So anyway, he used his dark tentacles power to absorb Link in a totally not gay way. And took all his powers and memories and gave him all his horrible pain from inside his heart, because he feels all the heartbreak that genuine nice guys have to go through because of heartless girls. And he uses it as a power source to get stronger.
Genuine nice guys fucking got me.
This new being was like a darker Link, with all the powers of both dudes, but he knew he could get even stronger. So he went to Hyrule Castle. Edit 1/3/2004. It's also in Termina at this time. Stop fucking commenting about it. It was before Majora's Mask, stupid. Read the fucking story first before getting stupid on my live journal. And he just jumped over the hole in the ground instead of making a wussy rainbow bridge like some stupid normal Link did.
That makes sense.
When he met up with Ganondorf, he just stabbed him through the heart and ripped it out, and he ate it off his sword like the kebab meat at the Sizzler. And he absorbed all of Ganon's pig power and became the darkest Link.
Whoa.
But you can call him Dink for short. So Dink took his new power and enslaved all of Termina with it. And everyone was afraid of him. The whole world was afraid to say the name Dink anymore. It wasn't an insult on Termina because they knew the darkest, most tortured badass on the whole world was named Dink. So they never called nice guys that when they asked him to dances or to have a nice dinner at the Sizzler with them, because they all knew Dink could kill him and drain their blood and they'd die. Edit 1/6/2004. He left Termina later, you fucking dumb idiots! Stop commenting about how he would be in Majora's Mask if he did this. He left Termina because everyone was fucking idiot like you guys are there, and he went to real world and spends all his time with Newfound Glory because they understand him and don't be mean to him because he likes black clothes and isn't a dink. Edit 1/7/2004. His name is Dink, though, and it's not an insult. The end.
Wow. And, I mean, Newfound Glory does rule, though. He wasn't wrong. There was a grain of truth, too.
So, here's his stats. I always like to do stats.
Oh, yes.
Darkest Link, a.k.a. Dink.
Yep.
His home plane is Termina.
Mm-hmm.
His type is Possessed Evil Link. Age, immortal, but appears to be 16. Alignment, hyper chaotic evil.
Whoa. Wait, is he hyper chaotic or hyper chaotic? Never mind.
Hyper chaotic evil.
Got it.
Occupation, murderer. Assassin.
Yep.
Skateboarder.
Okay.
Master, none. Go fuck yourself, Ganondorf.
Wow.
Enemies, Hyrule Link, that bitch low roll Link, Ravio, the Four Swords Link, I guess? Is that a different Link? I got the book that explains the timelines, but that just kind of confused me even more. Fuck them anyway, I guess, whatever.
Yep.
First appearance, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Dark Disease, the Newfound Glory mod on CoolRoms.com.
Awesome. I'm downloading that immediately.
Quotes, my soul is diseased to its core. Within my veins is only darkness, and it carries within it the virus that will end all of mankind. So fuck you, Link!
I like that a lot of your OCs end up hating the actual characters from the canon.
That's so Sonic the Hedgehog OC. I had to bring it back.
It's such like a real thing that exists in, like, you know, the genre you're covering. Like, and I just don't understand it. How do you love a thing enough to make an OC about it, but just despise?
You hate the main character's guts. You just hate it.
I guess it makes sense.
My parents never understood me. Because they never existed. Because I'm like an evil possessed Link, you poser. Here's another one. Fuck jocks.
Whoa.
And finally, Newfound Glory doesn't get the recognition it deserves, and also, this is still Zelda. Darkest Link, aka Dink, which is not an insult anymore because Dink is now a really fucking cool thing to be, so fucking joke's on you, idiots, if you call me Dink, is still out there somewhere, chilling with Newfound Glory, and living that fucking emo life.
That's pretty much what it was like to be emo back in the day. I mean, there's a lot more Connor Oberst. But he nails the zeitgeist.
I feel like I captured something here. So, really the question becomes, is the character that I created Darkest Link, or is it the creator of Darkest Link that I created?
The
real life Dink.
I feel like we named the Sonic teen in the first episode. We gave him...
I feel like we probably did. This feels like a Connor to me.
Yeah.
This kid is a Connor.
Even if his name isn't Connor, he goes by Connor.
Of course. Well, he goes by Dink now because everybody calls him that.
Yeah.
You fucking Dink?
You Dink.
But that's right. Dink's a cool name, and here's why.
I can't even imagine what would happen to my psyche if a girl called me a Dink. Like, I would probably just die.
You just give it up then, right? You go hang up all the genitals. You're not going to need them anymore.
Even today, if a girl I even minorly liked called me a Dink, I'd ignite into vomit and tears.
How do you come back from that? There's no comeback from Dink.
I think it shows real strength that Connor is able to put his pain into art.
It's true. He's channeling his real life experiences in a way that's, I think, healthy in the end, right?
Yeah. Maybe.
He's channeling it into his live journal.
Like, he should definitely talk to someone.
So that's my original character, Dink.
I love it. I loved all the edits, too, because it implies, like, he's being, like, punched up in the comment section or something like that.
People in the comments are trying to help, and he's just taking it as an attack on his art.
They're just, like, going in with, like, maybe not even, like, like, the best of intentions, but are just like, actually, this couldn't have happened. I'd just like to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I don't think Dink could have happened if it's in the Majora's Mask timeline, because wouldn't he be around when the moon drops? No, you fucking dumb idiots! He left Termina! Because everyone's fucking idiot like you.
Also, he can dimension slide if he has chaos control.
Dude, that happens so much when, like, a Sonic fan, like, character creator makes a non-Sonic character that they can still use chaos control for some reason. And I love that. I wish I would have put it in now. That would have been the feather in my cap for that whole thing.
Now that it's the last episode, no secrets between us, I don't know what chaos control is.
Look, everybody strap yourselves in.
Okay.
Chaos Control is a power Shadow the Hedgehog has that lets him do whatever the fuck the writers want to make him be able to do. And also Sonic has it for some reason, but only in Sonic Adventure 2.
We need the Chaos Emeralds to control chaos, right?
Yeah, so here's a question to the audience. And you can't answer since this is the last episode.
Yeah.
But Shadow the Hedgehog was created to be the ultimate life form in a laboratory by Dr. Robotnik's grandpappy.
We all know this.
It's part of the established lore. And he can use chaos control because he's a fucking mutant monster and he was made to be able to do that.
Right.
Later in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic gets shot into fucking space, and he uses a Chaos Emerald to use Chaos Control and teleport himself back to the space station. How the fuck does he do that, everybody? He's just a regular fucking hedgehog boy.
Maybe there's something special about him, Jeff. Maybe he's not just...
Maybe there is something special about him. It's called being the main character of the franchise.
It goes a long way.
So, like, when you play the two-player mode, Shadow the Hedgehog has all these fucking chaos control moves that you can do, and Sonic can also do all of them. So, were we supposed to get from this game that Sonic was also created in a laboratory by Dr. Robotnik's grandfather? Or is that just my OC?
Jeff, I think from this we can deduce that if either of us were the franchise protagonists of our franchise, we would have a lot more. We'd have a lot more sway.
Yeah, I feel like I learned that at a certain point in my life, right? Where I was like, I'm the main character. And then I was like, well, wait, all these other people can do way cooler shit than I can. Holy fuck, am I the Yajirobe? Is that who I am? That's fine.
No.
That's fine.
No. You're the Kuwabara.
I'm 100% fine with that. Fucking Kuwabara is my favorite.
He's a big sword boy, and I love him.
I love that big fucking idiot. I'll be him. So, if you've listened to original characters before, you've thought, wow, why did they call it that? But also, you've thought, I'd like to write into this show and let them know what I'm all about, what my steez is when it comes to this character.
We keep hearing you think that through our means of doing.
Get out of my fucking brain!
We will after this episode.
So, if you would like to send in your original characters, don't, because we're not doing this anymore. But we do have an inbox full of your original Legend of Zelda characters.
So brutal. So if this is your first OGOC, you fucked up.
Yeah, well, go back in time and send one, dumbass. Like, what are you doing? No. Kevin, would you like to read the first one, or should I?
Oh, I want to read it because it's Sam Lindstrom.
I always get to read the Sam Lindstrom one, so I thought I'd give it to you this time.
I desperately want to read the Sam Lindstrom one.
Bring it on.
Our first email is from Sam Lindstrom. It's entitled, Is Tingle an OC? Are his brothers OC? Is his dad an OC? Remember his dad?
I do not.
Well, his dad is a never-seen character who doubts that Tingle can be a fairy boy because he's 30 years old and lives with his father. So
look, we've all been there, right?
We've all been there. No, my dad would support me.
Your dad would be like, he can be a fairy boy if he wants. Stop questioning him.
He's like, lay off my fairy boy son.
Look, I believe he's full of the energies necessary to become a fairy boy.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Michael Cole.
Mike Cole, who follows me on Twitter. Thank you, Mike Cole, if you're listening to this right now.
Damn right he does. I think my mom follows you, too.
What? Really?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no. I don't remember that.
All right. Sam's email begins, Hey, Jeff and Kevin. All right, enough bullshit.
Right out the gate.
Zelda OCs, you say. Last episode, you say. Welcome to the original characters podcast, you said, or some variation therein.
He's got me there.
Meet my trio of OCs, Whimsit the Zora, Chutney the Deku Scrub, and Alexei Photopoulos the Goron.
And there is an amazing picture that we're definitely going to have to post on Twitter for you guys to see of these three characters. Sam has this incredible ability of caricature where he can make any established design look completely new, original, and cool in his style.
God. Alexei Photopoulos just looks like he has just like the ideal migraine right now. In the distant future of Hyrule, you know the future I'm talking about, Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf were all dead. Jesus.
Rest in peace, our franchise, I guess.
Link choked on a chicken bone. Zelda forgot her keycard in the stairwell of an office building, and Ganondorf was attacked in his home by a gang of very persistent Roombas.
I have several questions, but chief among them is, how does Zelda losing her keycard make her die?
She's trapped in a stairwell.
Look, there's so many things she's wearing that she could eat.
Yeah, but for how long?
How long is no one going to use the stairwell?
Looking upon the deceased holders of the Triforce, the goddesses wondered, what if we tried literally anything else? And so they did. The Triforce of Courage went to Whimsit the Zora, a plucky young hero with no fear response. She had I think I already see what... Triforce of Courage went to Whimsit the Zora, who has no fear response. Sorry, I think I said wisdom.
Yeah, you fucked it. You fucked it. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. She had a tendency to walk off cliffs, swallow needles, and casually start up conversations with strangers on the subway. Damn.
Which is the scariest thing.
She kind of also just sounds like the worst. But I love her. The Triforce of Wisdom went to Chutney, the Deku Scrub. Chutney liked to spend all her time in her room thinking about all the things she could be doing outside of her room before going to bed.
And is that a life wasted, though? Think about it. Think about it.
If it is, I'm in trouble. The Triforce of Power went to Alexei Fotopoulos, the Goron. Alexei Fotopoulos went to a school that de-emphasized physical recreation, so he spent most of his youth not knowing why he felt so anxious whenever he had to sit down for a whole class. He was misdiagnosed with ADHD, and his resulting medication kept him from developing at a normal rate, and he really loved the birthday massacre.
That got really real, did it not?
I'm guessing this is maybe based on a friend of Sam's. Maybe. What a mystery. Eventually, these three noble souls found each other, and rather than kick up some bitter rivalry, they became fast friends. They did everything together. Chutney stopped Whimsit from chasing cars. Whimsit helped Alexei Fotopoulos vent his frustrations through outdoor activities. And Alexei Fotopoulos kept Chutney from staying in her room all the time by tossing her farther and farther away every time she tried to go back inside. That was good. They were made for each other, and they went on all kinds of adventures. In time, they came to take on the mantle of heroism, fighting off monsters and bringing peace to the land, but only ever for so long. It seemed no matter what they did, the land of Hyrule would always be plagued with evil. "What a waste of time all this is," Chutney would say. "Our reality is cyclical by nature. That's the only way the series maintains its brand identity." "Yeah," Whimsit responded. "I only ever stop fighting when my arms go limp and the visions start squeaking in riddles."
Whoa!
"Why won't my dad tell me where my brother's living now? I just want to call him."
Jesus.
So, Alexei Fotopoulos clearly not paying attention. "Wait," Whimsit thought. "What if we pulled our powers together to make a wish? A wish that all bad monsters were gone forever." "Forever?" Chutney asked. "A solution like that would be final."
Oh my god, no!
Damn it.
Not again!
Samuel. I'm not even going to say it out loud. Not even going to say it out loud.
M-Class just did an episode on this called I, Borg that I feel like you should be listening to right now. About why this might not be okay to do.
Alexei Fotopoulos added an unnerving shift toward clarity in his voice. Wow, this is like illustrated.
Yeah, there's a series of illustrations in this email that'll have to come with it.
The three friends sat across from each other over a glowing emblem of the Triforce. They would make a wish that all the bad creatures and all the bad people would go away forever. The world could finally know peace if they could just sift out the
Oh no!
The unwanted, the unworthy. Who better to make this call than the wielders of the Triforce themselves? Power isn't granted by accident. It is earned. It is just.
No!
You're really hitting on some dark themes that are present in the Legend of Zelda.
No, I don't like this story. Let's go play Rugrats. I don't want to read this anymore.
These thoughts bobbed and weaved through Chutney's wooden skull. Alexei Fotopoulos dropped his massive palm on the ground with a thump. Whimsit placed her hand down next, looking over at Chutney. "Come on, what are you waiting for? This is how our story was meant to end." Chutney sat silently. "What's the hold up? The Seahawks kick it off in 15 minutes and I'm not going to miss it," Alexei Fotopoulos roared. With a sigh, Chutney stood up from the incantation circle. "No more of this. No more fighting." She walked to the door and paused. "No more genocide." Wow. I'm glad we stuck around.
Yeah, me too.
The autumn winds blew gently as a young Gerudo woman, the new holder of the Triforce of Courage, walked into the clearing of the great Chutney tree. Your powers are gifts, the tree told her. Treasure them, share them. Share them with all the world. It is criminal to hold them too close. The Gerudo nodded. I will do as you command, Mother Tree, but I must ask a question. What is that resting at your base, nested among your roots? For a moment, the tree almost smiled. Wheaties, my dear, the breakfast of champions.
But why?
That is not for us to know.
Am I dumb? Did I miss something?
I don't know. There's one more. There's one more at the end. Hey, Jeff, Kevin, thanks so much for hosting this podcast. It's been a hell of a ride, both in getting to hear your and everyone's fantastic stories and characters, as well as a super rewarding opportunity to push myself creatively. This podcast is everything I wanted it to be and more, and I know whatever kooky projects you two whip up next, I'll be there for it. Keep on keeping on. Sincerely, Sam.
Sam. You really you flipped my expectations in a way that was entirely satisfying, and I appreciate the hell out of it.
He did a friendship run. He finally did friendship instead of genocide.
We were so close too, and I was on the edge of my seat. I was ready to change the channel over to the Rugrats. I couldn't handle it.
I mean, I was like, I don't know. I know, but he knows his audience so well, and he just played with our expectations. It was awesome.
You have a future ahead of you in storytelling, Sam. I could feel it.
Also, if you really like that kind of story, I just finished watching Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and it gets into like
genocide,
ethnostates, revised history. Like it does some really heady topics in a magical girl like show, and it's so good.
Jesus. Well, check that out. Also, check out Sam Lindstrom on Twitter. I think it's just at Sam Lindstrom.
Do it.
Sam has an incredible art style that I love. I've been following Sam for ages, actually. So you do it too.
Sam is just an incredible person that I love, and thank you for all the nice things you said at the end.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm sorry we can't be a vessel to bring your fun ideas to the world anymore, but hopefully people will come to you now that they know that they can get a story that ends without genocide too if they want.
Yeah, you're the vessel now.
Our next email comes from...
Wait, I feel like I want to end these emails by saying goodbye to the person.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Is that too heavy?
Nah, tell
me. I just want to say, thanks, Sam. Goodbye, Sam.
Goodbye, Sam. Thank you for everything you've done, Samwise.
Thank you,
Samwise the Brave. Our next email is from Matt, I guess, since there is no signature.
Okay.
And it is entitled Finalosi, Original Character, Do Not Steal.
Oh.
Finalosi is a Hylian who is currently the elder of Kakariko?
Kakariko.
I always said Kakariko.
I always said Kakariko too, but I also said Kakariko and variations of that.
I mean, there are still people who say Helian all the time, even though it's called Hyrule. So
anything is correct because no one actually speaks in Zelda.
No, nobody speaks Hylian.
The only word we know how to pronounce is ahoy from Wind Waker.
Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Finalosi is a Hylian who is currently the elder of Kakariko Village during the Time of Darkness. For the last 5 years, that raging pile of moblin shit, Ganondorf, has been rolling over Hyrule with an iron fist. At least when he's not playing that dummy thick pipe organ.
I already love those.
Finalosi has had to deal with that bullshit since day one, so he's pretty used to it by now. But still, why isn't anyone trying to help his village? The one kid that was going around doing favors and collecting the spiritual stones seems to have be getting the job done. But then he went and not only opened the door of time for Ganondorf, but then he just fucked off for the last 5 years?
Oh no. He's still got 2 years until
God.
Big Boy Link comes back.
Now everyone's looking to Old Final for their expectations, after their expectations have been raised. He does his best, considering a literal ring of ominous doom hangs over his head every day. But he's an old man. He can't go wrangling up your damn cuckoos every time he leaves the area, Anju. Also,
Blasted.
No one listens to his request to change the name of the Temple of Time to the Sacred Temple. What does that place have to do with time at all? It's a portal to the sacred realm, not some damn time machine. And now the castle is overrun with Ganondorf supporters. Good luck trying to get a word in edgewise at those town meetings. Dude just scream at you until you're paralyzed in fear and bad opinions.
Wow, topical.
Who knew that everyone on Twitter was just a redead?
It's all coming into focus now.
Rude.
Rude.
Anyway, Finalosi has been the elder of Kakariko Village for about 40 years, ever since the old days when all he had to deal with was King Harkinian telling him to scrub all the floors in Hyrule. He's pretty well loved by the villagers, at least by the ones that aren't hideous Skulltula hybrids now. Those guys are kind of miffed. The target range crowd, though, big fans. Current town projects: tell Windmill Guy to calm the fuck down.
Aww.
Find a new gravedigger.
Yeah.
Find out what that shambling horror-esque sound coming from the well is all about. Ask that ninja dude what happened to the princess.
I picture this next one is written in someone else's
Praise Ganondorf.
someone else's handwriting because it's in all caps.
Figure out why there's so many places in this town that are inaccessible to the average villager. Catchphrases. Well, that's how it goes in Kakariko. Has anyone seen my horse? Now that's a spicy potion. Thanks, Kevin and Jeff. Aww.
Thank you, Finalosi.
Thank you, Finalosi, and thank you to Matt. That was a fun read. I like that character.
I like that character a lot, too. That was just a solid little time we had. I like all the Ocarina references. And I'm usually salty about Ocarina just because I'm like, it's not as good as nostalgia makes me think. And it isn't, but
no,
it's still very good.
I really love Ocarina of Time, and I always will. It has gotten, like, blown out of proportion how good it is.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite Legend of Zelda games are Breath of the Wild and Link to the Past. So I have a weird opinion compared to most people.
Yeah, I like Majora's Mask. It's probably my favorite one.
Fucking hipster.
Yeah, I'm pretty hip. You're right, Jeff. And I like the Game Boy.
The Oracles?
Yeah, I like Oracle of Time.
I played Oracle of Ages more. And that would have worked out. That would have worked out for us.
Oracle of Ages is very, very good.
Or, no, I played Oracle of Seasons more. Fuck. Okay, we were all mixed up.
We were all mixed up. Oracle of Seasons is the one I played first, and I liked it. And I didn't play Oracle of Ages for a very long time. And then I played it, and I loved it.
I don't think I've played Oracle of Ages all the way through. I think I started it right after I finished Seasons, and, I kind of burnt myself out.
There's a weird, alternating New Game Plus that you can play between those two games until you've beat them both, twice through.
And then, I think it got cut, but weren't you supposed to be able to fight Ganondorf if you beat both games when they were connected?
No, you still fight, I think a monster that looks very much like Ganondorf.
Okay.
Or Ganon or something like that.
Yeah, because there's There's Oracle of Art of
But he's got,
Ganondorf.
the Twilight Princess, Zon hat or whatever. He's got the big triangle.
In the art I saw, he looks exactly like Ocarina of Time Ganondorf in the face, but he's wearing a purple robe, and he's got the biggest disco collar I've ever seen in my life, and it's red. Oh, it looks amazing.
Shit.
Yeah, look that up on Google.com if you got some time. But I would like to thank Matt for writing in and
thanks, Matt.
Say goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever, Matt. See you soon. Our next email is from Evan. Yeah?
Yeah, nobody signs these.
Yeah. And Evan writes, here's my terrible OC for the finale, Ganondorf. Here's the about section. Born in southern Hyrule and raised by his grandmothers Kogami and Kogam-Gam.
Oh, that's Kogami. And Kogam-Gam.
And Kogam-Gam. He works on his family's hog farm. He wears overalls and a t-shirt with his favorite band's logo, Iron Knuckle. That's great.
Dude, Iron Knuckle is a great name for a band.
The great name for a Zelda band.
Hell
too.
yeah.
He also rocks a mullet. I love Ganondorf.
I feel like I lived near Ganondorf growing up, honestly.
He wants to marry the mayor's daughter, Zelda, but she has her eyes on the town sheriff, Enlazar. Enlazar. He rides around on a big hog he named the Gunnin' Lee. Usually blasting his favorite song, Run to Death Mountain. Much to the ire of the boss hog. One day, while cleaning out his late Uncle Jesse Dorf's old shed, he found a magical trident. While he was tossing it in the dumpster, he found a triple barrel shotgun. That's a fucking amazing mystery. He found an amazing triple barrel shotgun that someone had thrown out. It was a triple enforcer model. It was a triple enforcer model. He called it the Triforce, since most of the lettering on the side had worn off. He likes to drink beer in the alley behind his house with his friends Fatty, Gary, Ham, and Lasse Oscuro, and Lazar's twin brother. Okay.
I don't get Enlazar. Am I dumb, everybody? I get that's supposed to be Link, probably, but...
Maybe. Stats. Power, 10 out of 10. Speed, 7 out of 10. Wisdom, 1 out of 10. Courage, 1 out of 10. Cooking, 10 out of 10. Can grill a mean steak.
Yeah, but how does he cook the steak, is the question.
That is a very important question. Also, I saw your tikka masala on Twitter. That shit looked good.
Dude, I said that it turned out okay, but like I had just taken 2 bites of it. Like I started getting into it. It's fucking great. I loved it.
I love cooking Indian food. It's always so fucking satisfying.
Dude, I like botched it the first time. Like I used the wrong spices, and it was too like umami. It was a little too savory, and it wasn't spicy enough. So, and I hated it. Like my wife Krista was like, "It's fine," but she has to say that by law because we're married, and it actually sucked.
I should get married so people have to like my cooking.
Yeah, that's the law.
Quotes. Who needs courage when you have a gun? This is my boomstick. I'm gonna kick your ass. Hold my beer.
Jesus.
Well, I guess that does it for my final OC for one of the best podcasts I've had the pleasure of listening and contributing to. I'll definitely miss this podcast, but I'm looking forward to more Space Kings from Kevin and more Inksburg from Jeff. Take care, you two.
Man, thank you. You take care. No, you take care.
Thanks, Evan. I like Ganondorf.
Like I said, I feel like I lived somewhere near Ganondorf growing up, to be honest. I absolutely fucking love Kogami and Kogamgam. That's genius.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you, Evan. Thank you for listening and for the kind words, and goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever to Evan. Everybody dies when we say that to them, so sorry about that.
It's true. They turn into little triangles like in Endgame.
Our next email is from VG Dad.
VG Dad.
VG. And it is entitled Legend of Zelda OC. Please do not steal.
Oh, no.
Hey, Jeff and Kevin. As soon as I heard the theme for this episode, I knew I had to submit it. The Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite series, and I couldn't resist the opportunity for some good old-fashioned shitty OCs. Allow me to introduce you to my original character. Please do not steal. Cosmo, the hero of space.
That's pretty good. I like that inversion.
It's
like the hero, Jeff. It's like the hero of time.
No, I fucking get it, Kevin. Calm down.
I was just making sure.
I have had some problems getting some things in this episode, so I can't blame you.
Yeah, me too. And I just wanted to leap on a joke that I actually understood.
After the events of Ocarina of Time, when Link gets sent back to the past to live out his life, he decided he no longer belonged in the Kokiri Forest. Maybe this takes place after Majora's Mask 2? I don't know. It doesn't really matter, since Link is ancillary to the story. Anyway, Link decided to settle in Hyrule Castletown and retire from the hero's life. There, he met a boy named Cosmo. He and Cosmo became best friends and did all the things that kids do. Catching bugs, cutting down bushes, fighting chickens, breaking into houses and throwing pottery. You know, kid stuff. One day, Link showed Cosmo the Temple of Time and his old blade, the Master Sword, regaling Cosmo with tales of heroism, demons, dungeons, and fairies. Years passed, and Link forgot all about his hero's journey and settled into an early retirement. Link didn't think much of it, but Cosmo never forgot about that fateful day. Another fateful day came, and Cosmo went back to the Temple of Time, ready to wield the Blade of Destiny. Upon grabbing the Master Sword, Cosmo tore open a hole in space and time, exposing an alternate reality.
Damn.
Apparently, the Master Sword can also let you travel through dimensions, but only if you're the chosen one. And you better believe there's another Master Sword in that alternate dimension. So yeah, Cosmo wields 2 Master Swords.
That's real shit.
Double Link in the house.
This is... The image attached is exactly what you think it is.
Cosmo took it upon himself to explore this alternate dimension and found it to be a dark, twisted version of the Hyrule he knows. Recalling the stories that his best friend Link told him, Cosmo decided to explore this land and maybe learn a few things along the way. As he made his way through Dark Hyrule, Cosmo traveled to many familiar locations that were dark reflections of the ones we know and love, and just so happened to find exactly the right tools to help him solve a myriad of puzzles and giant enemy encounters. On yet another fateful day, Cosmo encountered the big bad himself. Yup, you guessed it. This is the dimension where Link failed to defeat Ganon. And if you don't believe me, look it up. That's 100% canon. So now it's up to Cosmo to do the job.
Damn. Well, I mean, he's pretty much the most equipped for it that he can possibly be.
He is double equipped. He is Klingon equipped to fucking take on these enemies.
That's a joke from your other podcast,
yeah.
M-Class Podcast.
There's definitely some people listening to this that don't get that joke. Using his newfound powers of reality hopping and sick dual Master Sword wielding, and sometimes he spins the blades like a helicopter to just decimate enemies. Cosmo must jump between dimensions to find the 7 crystals or medallions or whatever to seal Ganon's power for good. I don't know, maybe this leads into the events to Link to the Past somehow? Sure, let's go with that. Oh, and did I mention he's coming to Smash? Yeah.
Whoa.
He's coming to Smash.
Oh, great, another sword character in Smash.
Well, at least he dual wields.
I don't know if that makes it better.
No, probably not. Thanks for all the laughs, and thanks for giving me an excuse to write and draw some amazingly stupid things. I'm looking forward to your next creative endeavor. Yours originally, VG.
Aw, thanks, VG. I like this. It's kind of like we're going to our own funeral.
Rest in peace, you two.
And everyone just has to say nice things about us and think that we're in a better place.
Yeah, we're pretty much Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn at their own fucking funerals.
Just in the fucking rafters giggling on these fucking idiots who think we're dead.
These dumbos think we're dead.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Pain of fence.
I guess you're the Huckleberry Finn and that you eventually learned to not be a shitty kid, but I never do. I'm the Tom Sawyer.
I don't know. I think I do some really morally questionable shit.
That's true.
In the meantime.
That's true. But, you know, you learn. I'm like
we'll
40.
Never get to do.
I'm like 40 years old still trying to make people paint fences for me. So.
That's true. I get a lot of free labor out of people. Maybe I am Tom Sawyer. I mean, at least the song Tom Sawyer.
That is a great song. Were you about to make a joke about Tom Sawyer original characters?
Yeah, I was going to be like, we'll never get to do our Tom Sawyer OC
Oh,
characters.
no.
But I was like, maybe that's a bad joke.
Well, it's a good thing I jumped on that grenade for you then. So you don't have to suffer the shrapnel.
I stand by it. Great joke.
Why don't we hop in this next email, Kevin?
Goodbye forever, VG Dad.
Yes.
Thank you for writing to us.
Goodbye forever. You will never see us ever again. This is a Suicide Pact episode. We're done after this one.
We're going off to the Greylands.
Man, I
the
wish.
Wood Elves.
I wish.
Oh, this is me. I'm reading
it's you, motherfucker.
All right. This email is entitled Zelda OC, Please Don't Steal, and it's sent to us from Jared. And it begins. Dear Kevin and Jeff, and secret third guest host standing behind you right now.
Oh, there's nobody there! He got me!
It's my cat, Houdini.
Oh. Welcome to the show, the great Houdini!
She's just kind of mashing her face into a chair trying to ignore me. Which... Pretty generous guest, I'd say.
It's true.
It's been a while, but I'm back with an OC. If you'll have it, but as always, please don't steal. We would never.
That's the secret of this whole show. I've been stealing all of your OCs the whole time.
Yeah, you guys didn't really seem to catch on that we're just using your content for our show. I mean, we're not making any money off of it.
We have stolen it for our show, though.
Fucking
that's the irony.
Bamboozled you guys, pulled the wool over your eyes.
You've been hoodwinked, gotcha. Bamboozled,
and all you got was a middling to pretty good podcast.
Idiots.
Got him.
No, but read this Dumbo's thing.
Okay. My Zelda original character, please don't steal, is Dimio Tremsman. Chilean historical anthropologist extraordinaire specializing in the evolution of the various Chilean races during the Great Flood.
Excuse me, Kevin. Mr. Kevin Cole.
Yeah.
Hylian?
Hylian? Whatever.
It doesn't matter since no one ever says it. Everyone could be wrong.
Whatever.
It's just new. I've never heard that one.
You're the one who wanted me to speed up, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you fucking quantity over quality.
Just give me that quantity. Shove it up my hole.
I'm gonna blast you full of it. Dimio's first headcanon, peer-reviewed thesis, was about that's good. Was about how the forest-dwelling Kokiri evolved into the living tree stumplings that are the Korok. The Kokiri always had a close tie to nature and the wood spirits of the forest, and when the Great Flood washed away the farmland, the Kokiri relied on when the Great Flood washed away the farmland the Kokiri relied on to sustain their race. They slowly began to take on the appearance of the forest they retreated into to escape the rising waters. Over generations of living in the branches of the forest, and with the blessing of the great Deku tree, the proto-Koroks began to be able to sustain themselves via photosynthesis. Cool, I'm gonna sit in a tree.
That is really cool. I really just thought the Kokiri eventually, fucked the Deku scrubs, and their babies came out Koroks.
Yeah, I feel like it's more likely they just rejoined Hylian society or some shit.
Just a bunch of children showed up. That would be great, actually. All the Kokiri move into, Hylian society and become, fucking, artful dodgers. They just, run around stealing from Hylians all the time.
Just little oichins.
Little fucking street oichins.
Well, that theory needs a few grains of salt to go over. Dimio's second published paper on the Zora's transition into the Rito is a bit more unrealistic. The biggest question is, why would an aquatic race evolve into an avian race due to the world flooding? Wouldn't a flooded Hyrule be the ideal environment for the Zora? No! That shit's salty. That shit's salty, and clearly the Zora were a freshwater fish, or brackish at best. So obviously the best course of action would be to evolve the ability to survive in this newly salty environment, but you'd be wrong. It's way more logical to evolve wings, fly over that mess, and find some dry land to live on.
Well, here's a bit of a problem, right? Is that
I'm not seeing it.
In later games, the Zora still exist. The Rito and the Zora exist at the same time.
So where did the Rito come from? My theory, space.
Space. The final frontier. The Rito...
That's from your other podcast.
Yeah, we made that. The Rito... is it even I think it's hinted in Wind Waker that they used to be the Zora. Because of the spirit is a Zora, and the person that has the spirit is a Rito that you talk to.
Here's the thing. I don't think the timelines make the worlds of the game better.
No, here's the thing. in my OC, I had a joke about how I didn't understand the timelines, even though I have the book, and that's not a joke. That's real.
Yeah, that's real shit. I've looked at that chart for like hours, and I'm still like, I don't think this is necessary.
It's really not. You don't need a timeline. None of it's necessary.
Well, that paper just barely passed the peer review process. Demio's third paper that's his most well-known. Well, it's simple logic that a diminutive race of forest elves would evolve into tiny treemans, and the fishmans obviously evolved into birdmans. What of the humble Goron? Gorons, we all know, are a race of sentient rocks. Rocks cannot swim, and are generally harmed by water. How would the Goron race evolve to survive a newly flooded Hyrule? By evolving into Gorons, aka not evolving at all. Got us there. Gorons survived the Great Flood by tapping into their race's greatest natural ability, not giving a shit. Motherfuckers eat rocks. They don't need to eat rocks. They just They could eat other things, but hey, rocks are right here, and plentiful. Furthermore, while all the other races of Hyrule were scrambling for the higher ground, the Gorons were already living in the mountains for millennia. I just want to point out that in Ocarina of Time, the Gorons are literally starving because they won't eat just any rock.
Yeah, they have to eat the rock from Dodongo's cavern, and they'll just die if they don't get those rocks.
And it's called rock sirloin, which means they're like the pickiest eater of all time.
They're too upper crust, literally, to eat regular rocks.
Jeff. That's a good joke. That justifies 9 episodes and 18 hours of this podcast.
We were fucking looking at how long it took between episodes earlier. A little bit of part in the curtain here. Yeah. We were looking at how long it takes between episodes, and we went 4 months without an episode once. And
which is, if Spotify is $16 a month, that's $60.
Yeah, so we pay SoundCloud. We paid a host on SoundCloud. It's like $15 a month. So we paid $60 to bring you one episode at one point.
But I mean, we don't make any direct money off of this, so
we don't.
Whatever. Don't use us as examples for your business.
No,
plans,
if you're really trying to make money, do the exact opposite of everything the two of us do, and you'll be fine. Except when it comes to Kickstarters, apparently.
Yeah. That went really well, by the way.
Yeah. If you're listening to this in a time and space where you don't know it went well, it did go well. Don't worry.
If you only get news about my stuff through this podcast, the Space Kings Kickstarter went really well. Thank you.
You know, ironically, there are a number of people who follow the original character's Twitter that don't follow either of us. Like, they just follow this show.
Bizarre.
Isn't it?
I hope they follow us to our regular Twitter accounts.
Yeah, we'll get into all that at the end of the show as well, where you could follow us, what else we're doing, if there's anything upcoming we want to talk about. We'll get into all of that.
Yeah, we'll get into it. In the end, Gorons survived the flood due to sheer dumb luck. They probably didn't even realize the world flooded. One day, a Goron took a rare stroll outside of the caves and thought to himself, it's a lot more splashy out here than I remember. Then paid it no further mind and went back in the cave and ate more rocks. That's all I got. Hope you enjoyed. Keep on original charactering, Jared. Jared, that was great.
That was incredible. I love this character. I love that you have couched unrelated original character ideas into this character so you can get away with just having it all in one email. That's genius. Yeah. That's smart.
That's good. That's
and
good.
I love your theories.
I love your theories too. And I feel like this could definitely be in universe. If like Zelda ever had Skyrim style books, it would have this exact like tongue-in-cheek
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sense of humor. And I am including the fact that you said motherfuckers eat rocks in there, because we all know the next Zelda is going to be very sweary.
M-rated. Pure M-rated.
Ayo, baby.
Link fucks everything in the new one. You're like, wow, I didn't even know you could have sex with that monster. And Link's like, watch me.
Yeah.
But he asks for consent from all the monsters.
It's true. And he wears Zelda's big booty yoga pants the whole time.
It's cool that they invented yoga pants in Hyrule before the Great Calamity, isn't it?
Yeah, Koji Kondo, thirsty.
Yeah, and the guy who created the music designed them. And he bust into the fucking graphics department and he was like, hey, I got this idea. They were like, wow, Koji Kondo, your dick is already out. What are you doing?
Dude, we all know Koji Kondo is the biggest horn dog at Nintendo.
He was like, one day he was trying to do that Mario theme, and he was like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, I'm gonna go crank it, because I'm a horn dog.
Love you, Koji.
Thanks for watching the show, Koji. Goodbye forever.
Thanks for watching our audio podcast. Jared, thank you so much for your email. Goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever, Jared. Thank you so much. I love that all of your emails end with sent from my magic space phone from the future. I love that so much.
I'm going to miss seeing that.
Oh, our next email is smaller, so I might end up reading two of them. Okay. Our next one is from Spencer, who his email is entitled Final Episode with a period, so you know it's serious.
Ooh, chills.
I just wanted to send you guys an email wishing you a fruitful future and that you guys did a fantastic job hosting this podcast and creating OG characters. I couldn't think of an OG character myself. I personally find it hard to top Tingle. So this is the end of my email. I have spoken. Signed, Spencer Stearns, PS 69.
Aw.
Thanks, that's the weed number.
I'm tempted to end the entire podcast here. Just no more emails, none of our information. Just ending it on PS 69. That's the weed
number. By the way, Spencer did not incorrectly identify the number 69. That was my own stupidity.
Yeah.
Nobody write to Spencer going, no, that's the sex one.
That's the nice one.
That's the one that you do to someone you like.
I'm only responding to like those Twitter posts that say 69 on them by saying weed or blanket.
So our next email, is from longtime contributor to M-Class email, Yakub, who writes, his title is Help, that man stole my OC.
No.
Oh, thank you.
The one thing we try to prevent.
Oh, thank you, OGOC man. You truly stand between us and the thieves. Link has conducted trains, steered boats, driven motorcycles, and flown planes, kinda. Time for that green-capped hero to get a sweet ride.
Yes.
In this new game called Legend of Zelda Shift of Power, Link gets to drive a Sokola Storm 1. It is an old but reliable and customizable car. Here's something that, like, I get questions about every now and then. Jakub is from Poland, and all of his emails have Polish shit in them that none of us know.
I feel sad knowing that a pipeline for like niche Polish humor is now closed off to me.
It's true. I guess you just have to listen to M-Class email because it's always on there as well. I read his emails very confusedly, but appreciatingly, you know?
Yeah.
The Sheikah slate gets updated with locations of refueling stations, mechanics, and body shops. The radio is playing tunes by Cass. There's an all-ocarina station, and Tingle has a chat show. Imagine getting on the Hyrule Highway with the top down and driving towards the sun. You know, you're describing a lot of the gameplay from Final Fantasy 15 right now.
Wow. Yeah. And I don't hate it.
No, I would love that. Like, some of my favorite shit in Final Fantasy 15 was just driving around listening to old Final Fantasy music with my boy band in tow.
I mean, Link already has a motorcycle. I feel like this isn't too big of a stretch.
No, it's not. You could bullshit it as well, make it look all like Sheikah technology-like and shit. Although if it did just look like a shitty old Polish car, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that's just as incredible, I'd say.
Possible car upgrades and skills for Link to learn include headlights for dark tunnels and driving in the dark.
That doesn't exist standard?
No, you gotta
Okay.
get an upgrade for that. Handbrake for starting uphill, maybe to get to the mountain Goron City. Changing tires for snow, maybe to get to the remote Penguin Rito village.
That's such an adorable idea.
Isn't it? Putting chains
Penguin
on wheels
Rito.
for ice and sand, maybe to get to that faraway Gerudo town.
Yeah.
And parallel parking in another dimension, like in Between Worlds.
Wow.
I guess the jig is up by now. I really liked the 2015 Mad Max game, and I fantasized about what that kind of treatment would do for Zelda. Yours, Riding Eternal, shiny and chrome. Yakub. P.S. OGOC was a great project, and I'm sad to see it go. I hope 2020 brings more great stuff from you OGs.
Thanks, cool.
Thank you. That's fucking... Like, I would love to play this game. It reminds me of Final Fantasy 15 on the surface, but if it was like a real major part of the gameplay, that would be all... Not in like a Batman Arkham Knight way. I don't care for that. But in a fun way, I'd be all on board for.
I just want a game where Link has to live out of his car, sleep every night in a Walmart parking lot.
You for sure have to find a parking lot to sleep in, because if you sleep beside the road in your car, there's a chance like moblins will come up and try to carjack you.
Or worse, the cops will tap on your window.
And they'd be like the town guards from Ocarina of Time with the helmets down over their eyes. Kink, kink, kink. What you doing in there?
And if Link accidentally drives through Georgia, then he'll just go to jail.
Oh. That's true. That's true.
Georgia's a terrible place.
Fuck Georgia.
I would never drive anywhere.
Yeah, why would you need to go to Georgia except to get out the other side of Georgia? Sorry to everyone who's listening in Georgia. It's not your fault your state sucks.
You guys know.
I lived in West Virginia. I know what it is. Thanks for that email, Yakub, and goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever, Yakub. / see you on M-Class.
Yeah, see you on M-Class. What's our next one, boy?
Our next email is from Eric. And he begins, Zelda OC, do not steal. Spoilers, it's a bug person.
Spoilers in the title.
If you read this for the podcast, you can just call me Eric. Okay, I do it right then. In Zelda, we got fish people, rock people, plant people, bird people, and a few types of people. Then we've also got the evil kinds of people, like lizard people, skeleton people, and the orc and troll people. Zelda's got its bases covered with all kinds of races. It even has robot people. But you know what Zelda has never really done? Mammalian people, unless you consider the human-type people of the game mammalian. But I'm talking about the kind of mammalian people that Fox from Star Fox is. Furries. Zelda has never had furries. Unless you count that time Link turned into a wolf, and that's why my Legend of Zelda original character is a bug person.
Have they not? I feel like they have had furries.
No, I don't think we've done furries.
You make Zelda now?
I do. This is where I reveal the reason I can't work on OGOC is because I've been hired by Nintendo.
Oh no, I've been working with Koji Kondo the whole time.
I am Koji Kondo and I'm horned.
I really like the sing-song you were about to get into at the beginning. We got fish people, rock people, plant people, bird people, even a few catches people.
It was fun. I love bug people.
Oh, I do too. I fucking love them.
They're called Buganoids in Space Kings, and they're very fun. And they are a race in Cave Story. They're a race of giant cockroach people that are sometimes friendly.
Sometimes.
Name Luna Mothman.
Okay. I feel like Eric knows his audience. He was like, I'm gonna put a Mothman reference in here for Jeff. Go ahead and put that in there.
Dude, people love Mothman.
I love Mothman. That's my dude. I love that guy.
Type of people, bug people. Type of bug, Luna Moth. The dopest of the moths. So I have, like, low-key motophobia. Like, I can't stand moths anywhere near me. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like...
Don't come to West Virginia. It's a real big one.
I just can't think of, like, things... It doesn't even, like, register as unpleasant. It's just, like, get a fucking moth off of me as fast as possible.
God. Wait, have we done one of these since I moved? I just realized, like, I made a West Virginia joke. Have we done original characters since I moved?
When'd you move?
Last year?
Yeah. We definitely did.
Okay.
Either that or we recorded an M class after you moved.
Well, hopefully everybody knows I live in Pennsylvania now. I had to leave my beloved Mothman behind.
I didn't know he was West Virginia based.
Yeah. The TNT area of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. There's a museum there. And like a fucking metal statue of the Mothman in the middle of town.
I feel like I could deal with a Mothman or a Luna Moth person, but yeah, just the idea of moths. I don't know why.
What about butterflies?
I guess that's why. It's like the powder. I think like the moth powder is the unsettling part for me. It's definitely like 1,000% irrational. And
that's what phobias are. Like, there's no explanation for why you're phobic of something. It just is.
Yeah, I don't think a moth is going to eat me or whatever. It's just I can handle bees. My dad keeps bees, and I'm totally fine with being crawled on and touched by bumblebees. Like I'm not afraid of bees. I got
stung right next to my genitals when I was a kid by a bee. So I don't trust bees. I wouldn't let them on me, but I'm not really afraid of them. I am, however, pretty allergic to them.
Oh, well, hopefully you have countermeasures if that should happen.
I'm not allergic to the point where I'm gonna, like, not be able to breathe, but, like, normally when you get stung, you swell up a little bit. Like, I get, like, elephantitis when I fucking get stung. It's wild.
Jeff, come to Massachusetts if you're stung by a bee. I will get you that healthcare.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Although your dad keeps bees, I don't know if it's smart to go around more of them.
Coward.
Yeah.
Alright. Type of bug, Luna Moth, dopest of the moths. Sex? Oh, yes, please. Also, no idea. Do you know how to sex a bug? Like, sexual dimorphism exists in many types of bugs, but I don't know this shit off the top of my head.
Bugs fuck. Like, all the time. Bugs always be fucking.
Bugs fuck, like, all the time.
I'm not trying to fuck a bug, though.
Well, let me see what this bug looks like. Like, how much moth and how much man are we talking?
Mothman, the statue of Mothman is just a buff dude with a moth's head and moth wings.
Does he wear pants?
No, he's smooth like a Ken doll down there.
Ugh. Height 4 feet 4 inches. Finally an OC that I'm taller than. Wings 66. Well, weight 66 pounds. Wingspan 8'1". Holy shit!
Fuck.
So super wide. Keeping the height shorter than average because 6 foot tall bug is fucking scary. Also, if I keep the proportions down, it's more likely to allow you to suspend your disbelief when a bug too big to exist flies away from your conversation and lands in a nearby tree to suck on tree sap or whatever.
So this is a little bit more bug than bug person then. If they're just gonna like fly off to a tree and start sucking.
I can kind of envision a GameCube graphics version of this character now. Backstory time. Luna Mothman comes from a long and proud family of Mothmans. Luna is now old enough to take on the family business of showing up at the sites of misfortune and scaring people on the road at night for seemingly no reason. This doesn't earn any rupees. The reason Luna's parents called it the family business is likely because it's an activity that the family partakes in that keeps them busy. It's also just easier to use broadly accepted terms. Anyway, Luna was good at their job. They'd make appearance at bridges or farms, and eventually that bridge would collapse or that farm would get attacked by moblins. They'd also perch on trees and watch travelers on the road at night and maybe follow them for a while before going home.
I love this so much.
You're deep in your Mothman lore,
Dude, it's getting good. This Mothman is getting good.
One day, the traveler that Luna decided to follow and stare at for no good reason was wearing silly green clothes and a floppy green hat. What a weirdo, Luna thought. I'll give this guy a spook because he's weird. After an assortment of spooky red eyes in the dark, flying overhead so you can hear something but not see it, and appearing further down the road than you'd expect, Luna felt like they had done what needed to be done, and that weird green person was sufficiently spooked. If that happened to me in a Zelda game, I would freak out.
Oh yeah, I would poop my green tights right there.
And then having it be like a little impish like moth person, that would be a great capstone.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. That was until they heard a shrill hup, ha, break the stillness of the night. The weird green man was doing backflips and side jumps in Luna's direction. Luna was confused and struck dumb, unable to move as they watched the strange green man cross the distance between them at a speed that must be somehow faster than simply walking. Fun fact about Ocarina of Time, it is possible to play it completely blind, because you can use your sword to judge distances, and you can use it like a cane to tap on stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a really cool blind playthrough online that's very, very interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. I have to check that out.
Also, Z-targeting takes care of fights for you.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
The green man stopped in a place as if frozen in time. Luna watched in silence as if they too were frozen. Suddenly, the green man had a mason jar in his hand. It wasn't there before. And Luna didn't see him take it out of his pocket. Oh, I got the player paused.
Yeah, he got in his fucking inventory and got out his mason jar.
Before Luna, maybe it's Luna.
I think it's Luna. The umlaut makes it Luna.
Or maybe Luna. Could react, the man was upon them with the jar, and with a strange pulling sensation, Luna found that they were no longer on the roadside. Everything began to shake for Luna as the green man held the jar in the air. A muffled jingle played. That's great, because you couldn't hear the jingle clearly from inside the channel. So I like that. As Luna felt themselves spinning. Then there was nothing. Likes and dislikes. Yikes.
That is a great transition.
Likes, nighttime, tree sap, sleeping during the day, ragtime.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my mothy. Hello, my ragtime moth.
I'm also deep into ragtime YouTube currently. It's fun. Lamps, I like that syncopation. That's fun. Lamps, scaring people at night. Sucrose, being the ominous pretext for disastrous events.
Favorite activity of mine. I love it.
You should add that to your Twitter bio. Dislikes, lamps that zap, lamps that are fire. Being trapped in a jar for an indeterminate amount of time. And spiders.
Here's a fun fact for you about the Mothman. All that Mothman shit.
I was going to ask for one.
Mothman, have you ever seen the movie The Mothman Prophecies?
No.
What I love about that is someone heard the story about the Mothman. That there was a giant moth that teenagers who had been out fucking and drinking in the woods drove home, and a giant moth flew down in front of their car. Mm-hmm. And everybody was like, oh shit! And that happened like 5 or 6 nights in a row, and then a couple days later, the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant fucking collapsed. And everyone was like, he was trying to tell us. What?
Mothman just wants to help. You know?
And like they took it a step further in the Mothman Prophecies, where Richard Gere's character gets fucking phone calls from a giant moth monster who tells him about the Silver Bridge that's gonna collapse.
Why was that so huge of a disaster that it required its own supernatural being to parse?
I guess. Well, the thing is, like, 86 people died or something, which is pretty rough for West Virginia in the 60s. But like, the thing is, like, people had been seeing Mothman for weeks before it happened, and then they never saw him again. Which, like, they were like, oh, he told us what was going to happen, and he left. Right? He was done. If I would have been alive then, I would have been like, maybe he got fucking crushed by the bridge. Like, Does that not make more sense?
I don't even think X-Files covered Mothman.
I think they didn't because the Mothman prophecies came out around the time X-Files had gotten its step going. Mothman gets mentioned quite a lot on X-Files.
Mothman, if you're listening, thanks for being,
thanks for give us a call on the helpline. Tell us about any bridge disasters we can look forward to. I love the Mothman. Like, people just have a lot of fun with the Mothman. He's not real scary. He's just a big moth, right? Like, which I guess that sucks if you have like moth phobia.
Yeah.
But like, in the Adventure Zone, there's the Real Play D&D podcast. There's in season 2, it takes place in West Virginia, and the Mothman. Because
they're also from.
They're from Huntington, where I'm from.
Right.
And the Mothman is a character in it who like keeps calling them on the phone to tell them about shit that's going to happen, and they barely pay any attention to him.
Wow, that's a great device, though. That's really smart.
I love.
Of course, it's Adventure Zone. They
are genius. Anyway, you can finish the email now. That's all the Mothman stuff I can say right now. Legally, he is standing directly behind me, so.
He is the secret third host of this podcast, but we just haven't covered any bridge disasters.
He's like, he keeps tapping me on the shoulder going, Jeff, talk about the bridge. Talk about the bridge.
And I keep cutting it because I'm like, Jeff, this podcast's already 2 hours. We can't throw another hour of bridge disaster talk on here.
Fuck. There's so many bridges disastering around, and we didn't do anything to help.
What are you going to do? Eric writes, I had fun writing this, and I've had fun listening to the two of you create and read other people's OCs. I'm sad to see that this podcast is ending, but I know you guys are busy and have other projects to work on. That's the thing about the internet, though, is that as long as we have it, the podcast will still be here. And you can come back to it at some other time if you really wanted to. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to support the both of you by listening to Pretend Friends, M-Class Podcast, and anything else you boys do or want to do.
Aww.
Is there a coffee but for alcohol? Because I'd like to buy you boys a drink. Anyway, thanks for reading this, if you did. And I'll see you guys later.
Oh,
thanks. Eric.
There is not a coffee but for alcohol, but sometimes I do just use the coffee money for alcohol. So don't tell coffee.
We both have Patreons now. I also have a coffee.
What's your Patreon? Tell everybody.
I'm making 12 games this year, 1 game a month, and it's patreon.com/SuperTryStudios.
And, of course, mine is just patreon.com/Jeff Pennington, where you can get a ton of behind-the-scenes looks at projects I'm working on right now, and see I'm really trying to teach myself different art things this year, so you'll be able to see my stumbling and acting a fool, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes.
I love looking at my email, seeing I get a little Jeff exclusive Patreon post.
A little taste of Jeff Pennington.
A little taste. I'm starving in the desert, and Jeff's just like, here, have a little biscuit.
Have a little Jeff biscuit.
Have a little Jeff biscuit.
Don't ask why it's called that. Thank you for that email, though. And
thank you, Eric.
Eric, we appreciate you writing in, and goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever, Eric.
Our next email is from Sotomaru, and they write, OGOC, do not steal. OGOC boys, long time, first time. Webster's Dictionary defines Zelda as a word which isn't in the dictionary, but suggests clicking on other words such as gelded, Zerda, Beldam, and Kelds. Now for my OGOC. I remind you not to steal this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Name, Iriku. Timeline, Breath of the Wild. Age, 17 years old. Well, 16, but he was born late in the year, so technically he'll be 17 this year.
That's still 16, Eric.
Gender, male. Species, Rito, the bird people.
Boys.
He's loyal to his best friends.
Well, he should be.
Who is he disloyal to is what I'm wondering. Hometown, Rito Village. Family, doesn't understand him.
Aww.
Job, student at Hyrule High. Weapon, his wit, and also his talents. Abilities. being away at math camp while Link came to Rito Village and missing out on the only interesting thing that happened in that shit town ever. Dropping you from very high onto solid ground. Completely ghosting you in school after spring break from freshman year because people in the class told him you weren't cool enough, and he is so insecure that he'd rather stop talking to a friend he's had since grade school than disappoint a few dumb people who probably didn't even mean what they said about you. But in the end, even though you were disappointed, he's the one who betrayed your friendship and has to live with that his whole life. Also decorating his locker with cool lyrics from Manowar, like the gods made heavy metal and they saw that it was good.
Yeah.
That got so real for a minute.
I love it. I love it when we see these like bleak looks into like long-standing grudges. It's so fucking funny.
That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Sad to see the podcast go, but thank you so much for all that original goodness. And remember not to steal. XOXO Sotomaru. Thank you, Sotomaru. I feel like we learned something about our shared history when we were all teenagers in that post.
It was beautiful. It was simple and clean, and I like that you used the template from ZeldaFandom.com. That's perfect. I wish I had found that.
Fucking Zelda fanin. Wow. Wow. Well, thank you.
And goodbye forever, Sotomaru. It's Jeff.
Look, he named his character Eriku. What? Shit. Anyway,
our last email ever is from Spivsy.
Thank you, Spivsy. You get the honor that people have fought for, clawed for one whole year.
We had to end this somewhere, and I'm glad we could end it with Spivsy. Spivsy's email is entitled, "Here's my OC. His name is Glamendorf." And the art.
Since there's not a whole lot of description in this email, I will say the art is a Ganondorf leaping into the air with long 80s tresses and a headband and a leisure suit.
And a little monogrammed Triforce into the leisure suit, as well as, I guess, like David Bowie style, like butt slits in the thigh.
And he's also holding an electric guitar that is shaped like the Master Sword shoved into a Triforce.
Yeah, and it's great because it's like, is he being stabbed? Which is what I thought was happening, and then I'm like, no, it's a guitar.
Oh, he's also surrounded by beautiful sparkles.
Oh, he's surrounded by Full Metal Alchemist style purple sparkles, and that's great. Spivsy writes, "Hi, Jeff and Kevin. This is my Zelda OC. His name is Glamendorf. Glamendorf is Ganondorf's cooler brother. He's in a rock band called Sexual Dodongo. And he once had sex with 2 ladies at the same time."
Whoa!
If I could go back and retcon all of our OCs to have that.
Just so that ends it. Every time we're talking about a character, the final part is also he had sex with 2 ladies at the same time.
Jeff, what would you do if you had $1 million?
2 chicks at the same time. You know you can do that without $1 million, right? Not when you look like me, you can't. We're just quoting movies now.
Yeah.
You're out of your element, Donnie.
We never did our Office Space OCs.
Oh, shit. I worked in an office for a while, so that would have been perfect. There's so many people I could have based it on.
I think I did, too, at one point. But who can say?
It's so long ago now, right?
Yeah. Stats. Rock, 10. Style, 10.2. Dick size, 50.
Wow!
Whoa, that's the most. Paternity suits, 4. Bless you, boys. Love from Spivsy.
Thank you, Spivsy.
That's how I want to end.
I think that captured the zeitgeist, as we always say, of OGOC in a way that no one else is going to be able to.
It's just silly and good. Thank you, everyone who wrote in. Thank you, everyone who listened. If even if we didn't get a chance to read your email on the show, we really appreciate you sending it, and we think you're good and special and valid.
Yes, please do not write to us saying that we didn't read your thing on the air. We're sorry. Just please stop. We're sorry.
Jeff, thank you for doing this podcast with me.
Man, you're welcome, I guess. Thank you for doing it with me. I mean, like, we literally just were up one night hanging out with Josh Henderson.
Yeah.
And we were just... somebody brought up original characters. All three of us were just looking around at all these fucking Sonic characters. And the idea struck like lightning. We have to do this. And...
we did it. We drew the other eye on the little Dharma, and we're throwing him into the fire.
It's true, and it was a year since the beginning of us doing this podcast, I think.
Yeah, it was like exactly a year.
Shit. So it's all come full circle. Think of this not as a podcast, but as one whole thing from beginning to end.
Think of it as an 18-hour audio movie.
Jeez. And that's not to say that we won't ever do an original characters again. There may be, if we ever get a stray hair and some extra time, who knows?
Yeah, we can't predict the future.
We don't have 20/20 vision. That's why we're not doing the podcast anymore.
that is the exact reason we're not doing the podcast anymore. I guess we've said it a lot this podcast, but thank you again, everybody.
Even if you never wrote in, if you just listened and enjoyed the show, and you were just a fan of what we did, like, thank you so much for that. It does mean a ton. Because, I mean, Kevin and I are out here on a limb, right? Like, neither of us has a big tether attached to a source of income or an audience or anything like that. We're not famous people, quote unquote. We're just two guys, and you still felt that we deserved to own an hour or two of your time 9 times.
That puts a lot in perspective.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So, thanks again. Jeff, where can people find you since you won't be here anymore?
No. This will be a vacant lot.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter @_ Jeff Pennington, and you can find my website at jeffpennington.art, and I'm always available for projects that you need an artist on, for longer term employment stuff. I'm freelance, so I'll do all your commissions. I got a nice commission chart on my Twitter that you can check out. It's on my pinned tweet. Ooh. And I love to do art for everyone. Don't send me requests for gross shit. And again, you can find all that secret gross shit at patreon.com/Jeff Pennington. Not really. I don't post any lewds or anything. Maybe I should. That's where the money is, right? What am I doing?
At least post some feet, dude.
Oh, nobody wants to see that.
Well, maybe some people do. I don't know. Point fingers and naming names.
But you can definitely also listen to my podcast that I do with Josh Henderson. It's all about Star Trek. And if you don't like Star Trek yet, if you're not a big Star Trek guy, it is the perfect doorway into loving Star Trek. It's the perfect first step. It's called M-Class Podcast, and it's available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify, and any sort of RSS feed program you happen to have. Also, some Russian sites I've seen. It's on there.
What?
They're like podcast mirror sites that take everything that's on iTunes and mirror it on a Russian site, and we're on there for sure.
That's weird.
You can also just go to, if you want a direct link to our SoundCloud, you can go to mclasspodcast.com. And I think that's it. I think that's all my shit right now.
Yeah.
What about you, buddy?
My turn?
Yeah, tell us.
Before I go, I just really want to thank Vitizen, Greg Gervasi.
Thank you so much, Vitizen. You're too fucking good for this world, dude. You've done music for everything I've been a part of so far. So
yeah.
Except my first podcast. I think you've done something for everything else I've even been slightly related to. So thank you.
He's just a super prolific and smart and generous and just nice person.
Incredibly talented as well. And incredibly talented.
Incredibly talented. It's skilled even. I'm just gonna I want to make sure I get his Twitter account right.
It is @_Vetizen_. So
please don't let him be a hidden gem anymore, because he's a jewel.
Yes, you should be following him on Twitter.
Yeah.
At least. And you should, at next to least, be buying all of his songs, because they're really good. Like, he does the theme song for M-Class as well, and it's a goddamn banger. So, yeah. Get over there.
Get there. As for me, I have been Kevin Cole. You can find me on Twitter, @RealKevinCole. I just started a Patreon, where you can follow along as I make 12 video games in 12 months.
Foolish.
It is foolish. It just launched, so there's not too much there, but there's going to be a lot there. And I'm really excited to show how I do this stuff, because I feel like a lot of people don't know how to make video games, and I guess I kind of know how to make video games.
You've made a ton of them.
I have. It feels weird to say.
Nah, I'm a bomb diggity fucking artist, man. I've been at this shit for 33? Oh god, I'm old. 33 years.
Damn. So yeah, that's my new hustle. If you like to hear my voice, I am on a podcast called Pretend Friends. You can find that online.
It's on iTunes.
It is on iTunes. You can just search for it on iTunes. But it's on... All the stuff is linked on Twitter at @pretend_friends. We play a system called Space Kings there, which I just kickstarted a book for. If you want to know when that book will be available, sign up to get an email for it. You can go to spacekings.space and fill out a little thing with your email on it. I'll tell you when you can get that book.
He did not kickstart a book for something he didn't have anything to do with, by the way. He created the Space Kings system. He skipped over that.
Oh yeah, sorry. That's the thing I did. I wrote that book.
I kickstarted the Stephen King book. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah. Then there's. Oh yeah. If you want to play a video game, my roguelike hack is often on sale. You can find that on my Twitter. I usually post when it's on sale or whatever, but it's a pretty good game.
It's a great game. I love it.
Jeff's done a lot of awesome fan art of it.
Because I'm a fan.
Because he's a fan.
I love it.
Yeah. I think that's all the things I do. I guess that's it, Jeff.
Well, I would like to bookend this podcast by saying a lot of people have approached me asking if it's okay to continue making original characters on their own. And the answer is no, with an asterisk behind it, in that if you call it literally anything else, you're good. As long as you don't use my fucking branding, you're fine. Go ahead.
So wait, people aren't asking if it's okay to continue making characters that are original. They are asking if it's okay to continue the podcast.
Yes, to make the podcast that we're making. And the answer is no. Don't do that. You can make a podcast called the OC Cast if you want. What the fuck ever. You just can't make original characters.
Yeah.
Original characters.
Yeah, that we said we still might want to do it.
Yeah.
I love that our last message to our fans is don't steal.
Don't steal our podcast.
How fucking on brand is that? Holy shit.
This has been an adventure. And
this has been a time.
It's, honestly, to be 100% honest with you, with the audience, is it was a great time, and I loved doing it, and I loved seeing everybody's creativity. That was all icing on the cake. The cake for me was just getting a chance to hang out with Kevin.
Aw.
And I just want to thank you for doing this podcast with me.
Jeff, hanging out with you was both the cake and the ice cream. It was very fun. And I I hope we can hang out and not make a thing together and just shoot the shit sometime
At some
soon.
point, we're going to have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. I don't really know the whole logistics of how people do that, but it'd be nice to try.
I've been talking about this year, and I guess I can fucking say it on the air as well, since this is the last podcast, is like...
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to be more proactive. Like, if I want something to happen, I'm trying to go after it, which is scary, right? And this might be a little lesson for everybody listening as well. Maybe I'll leave a lesson behind for once. Is that if you do not take those steps to do the things you want to do, even if someone might completely reject you, and this goes for a lot of things, this goes for love, this goes for business, this goes for friendship, everything. If you don't take those steps, it's never going to happen anyway.
Oof.
If you wait for somebody else to take those steps for you, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life for the most part. So
fine, Jeff, I'll make a OK Cupid.
Hey, maybe that's the lesson some people need to take away from this. That you have to take those first steps.
I'll use all of the things I've learned about putting detailed character information in a bite-sized amount of space to make my OkCupid page.
Maybe that was the training that this podcast was. It was to teach all of you how to fill out your online dating profiles. Honestly. Or dishonestly, as the case may be. Create an original character that is you to showcase to the world. Don't do that. Don't do that, everybody. But,
yeah, be yourself.
Hopefully that'll be the lesson that you can take away from this podcast is, actually a great lesson to take away from this podcast is don't let your creativity be limited by what's not, like, if something's dumb and silly, don't let your creativity be limited by the fear of that. Because sometimes that's exactly what it needs to be.
It's showing up. Just show up. If you want to make a good thing, just start by making a thing. And maybe finishing it, which is what we're doing here.
It's true. Putting an end to something and moving on to the next thing means that the next thing will be better.
Yeah.
And gotta hope. No, I'm kidding. This podcast is great. I had a great time. And it was one of those, like, 1 in a million, like, lightning strike gold mine type of ideas. So, of course, we're ditching it.
Yes.
And
until lightning strikes the same place twice.
Yes. This is a brand new year, and it means brand new projects for both of us. And I hope that all of you will enjoy those just as much as you enjoyed this.
And I wish you good luck on your projects in this new decade.
Absolutely. And share your new projects with us, I think. Like,
just not on the Twitter, because we won't be.
Yeah, we won't be on that Twitter anymore.
We won't be on the OGSC Twitter.
You know where to find us if you want to find us, everybody. And I think now is as good a time as any to end this podcast. And as always, do not steal.
Stop stealing.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever.
Thank you for listening to Original Characters. Our theme music is Kai by Vidazen. You can find him on Twitter at _VIDAZEN_. And look him up on YouTube too, because he's great. The Original Characters podcast is made by Jeff Pennington and Kevin Cole. Thanks for listening. That's a wrap.